Hello, thank you so much for watching this. I'm so excited to show you what I have created. It's one of my favorite pieces. It's the biggest one that I've done to date. Uh, I just discovered that FLOSSTUBE was a thing. I've been a cross stitcher for over 30 years. I started when I was 9 years old, and it is definitely my favorite hobby. And I am so excited to connect with the online community of floss tubers. I've already been watching so many videos and learning so many things. Um, and I'm just excited to join in the community and share with you and be just of one heart and one mind with all my cross stitch lovers, because it's something that makes me so happy. So thank you for being here and sharing this with me. Here is the piece. This is a beautiful family tree. It was a kit that I found at Joann's, just randomly passing by, and I saw it and I could not resist because I love family trees and I love things that are personable. So this was super fun. I was excited about this. The kit was created by Design Works. It's designed by Joan Elliott, and you can see in the middle there it says all things grow with love. So you can find this pattern online. I just did a quick Google search to find it, and you can type in all things grow with love family tree cross stitch, and you should be able to find this. Like I said, it's by Design Works. It originally is a 16 by 20 piece, but I had to make a little bit of adjustments to this, and I will show you why. But first, I'll give you a closer little look at all of this. The cute little family there. So dad on that side. You get to put the name of the couple and your wedding day in there, and then the dad's side here. And if you look closely, you can see these little brown lines. They follow the tree lines. So this one goes up like that, and this one goes up through there. So these two up here are the parents of them. And these two right here are the parents of them. These two, well, no, these two right here are his parents, and these two are her parents. And then this whole side is his parents. And then same thing, here's me, and then this is my side with my mom and dad, and then their parents, and then these two belong to them, and then these two up here belong to here. So it ends up being, oh, and then at the bottom here, you get to put in the children of the couple. Now at the time I stitched this, we had 5 children, and we now have 6. I'll tell you a story about that. Why I decided to get it framed before I knew our family was complete. There's a big story here. So I've always wanted to have a big family. My husband and I have wanted to adopt, and so when I found this pattern and got started on it, I couldn't resist. Like, I had to finish it, but I knew my family wasn't finished, and I was like, I'm gonna need more room too, because on the original pattern, this space in this box is just there's just room enough for 2 names on this side and 2 names on this side. So I had to figure out a way to expand this pattern to go from 2 to fit enough that I could fit 5 on each side, because that way there would be room for kids that we want to adopt, and if I have another baby, which I did have another baby, I need to add him there, but then there's still room for us to add more children to our family on my piece. But how could I expand this? Figure out how. I knew I could make those boxes bigger, but then if I made those boxes bigger, it would affect the entire piece. So I'll tell you how I did this, and I'll show you a picture of the original pattern, what it looks like. I just looked for little ways that I could add stitches. And first of all, along the border, I found room. So this, let's see, just these little lines here in the vines, I added 1 stitch to all of those to extend the border down. Now this part, I kept all of this the same. I also brought the tree down. So I extended the tree down and then made it so this house was a little bit bigger. So you'll notice that this upper row of windows, it actually shows the whole window. And then I also extended the pathway here and the fence. And that way, so it was this part right here that I focused on expanding so that there would be room for these boxes and the border. So this way stayed the same, but on the side is where I expanded it so I could get the greater length and add some more kids to this. All right, I love to get my pieces framed at Joann's. Patricia does a fantastic job with my pieces. She, I can't take this back off and show you right now, but like at Michael's, they just stick my pieces to a piece of board. But this at Joann's, she threads it like, anyway, so it's pulled really tight. She just does such a good job with it. So before I got this framed, I asked her, I said, all right, my family isn't finished, but I want to hang this piece still. And I want to enjoy it. I want to have it up in my house. I don't want to have it sitting in a bucket somewhere. And so I know that at some point we're going to add children to our family and I'm going to want to stitch their names in there. But if I do that, can I have this reframed? And how much would it cost to take that back off and to take it all apart and have it reframed? And she said that it would cost about $80. And I was like, oh, okay, is that worth it to me? And obviously you can see that I decided that yes, this was worth it to me. All right, here I'm gonna show you what I use to make the custom names. The pattern itself, the kit came with a little alphabet, and yeah, and I saved that, so I still have that. But what I would do is I would use graph paper, which is fabulous for writing this alphabet out. So I would just draw it out on the graph paper, and then I would count the spaces, and I would count, and you'll see I wrote the count there at the end. And then if you mess up, yeah, just and then I'd write the count there so that I could, and then I'd take the count, and I knew that was the length that had to fit in the box. So I took the total count of the whole box and subtracted this amount, and then divided that remaining amount by 2 so that I knew how much to count over on this side to begin, and so how much would be on those remaining sides. So I love how cross stitch involves math. Sometimes it's a little tricky and we have to get a little creative there. But using graph paper is really fantastic for me. All right, when I was taking my frame off the wall, I noticed that there are some little chunks out of the, just off the top that it's wearing a little bit on the frame. And so I wanted to show you a little trick that I use. I did it up here, so you can barely see it, but right here, this corner, that little chunk was taken out. So what I do is, my husband showed me this trick. He works with cabinets all the time, and a Sharpie is his tool. He just colors it in, and then he'll take his finger, but I don't like to get Sharpie on my finger, and you can take a rag and just wipe it off, and then it fills in that. So I'm gonna show you how that works here. Find a little corner, and I'll show you what that looks like. Let's see. This one is not too terribly bad. I'm gonna go over to this other one, that first one that I showed you. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so you take the Sharpie and you just fill that in, and it's okay if you draw on the frame itself, obviously. And I'm gonna fill in this line here. Okay, and then I'll get my little rag and just wipe that off. That way any marks like that you would see, like Sharpie marks, they're wiped off, and then it just fills in like that. And from a distance, you would never know. It works fabulously. So that's a little trick that I use often with frames. So I thought that sharing a family tree piece would be a great way to introduce myself to you and the rest of the FLOSSTUBE community, and share a little bit about myself and my family. It's something I obviously am passionate about is, well, next to cross stitch, is families and genealogy, family history. I love it so much. I am a mom of 6 kids. My youngest is 2 right now, and my oldest is 14. So, and I've been married for, we're coming up on our 19th anniversary. So life is busy. It's not always easy to find time to cross stitch because there are a lot of very important things happening, but it's something that I've taken the time to do because it fills my soul so much. So usually when I do cross stitch, it's something that I do at night, moonlight. All the kids have gone to sleep. I turn on a show and I'll stitch my heart away. So it's fun because I think about how much of my soul is stitched into these pieces, literally, just like what I was doing at that time in my life when I was stitching that piece, what kinds of things I was watching, what things I was thinking about. And so cross stitch is just such an amazing art because you really are putting your soul into that creation of it, and all that energy is like infused into each one of those little stitches. And so I love this piece. My husband loves this piece too. We just consider it a real treasure for our family because it's something that obviously our kids can look at and they can learn about. They can just see those names. Sometimes even just seeing those names of ancestors, of people who have gone before, helps you feel connected. It helps you feel like, I belong here. This is a place of belonging. And all of us have that. We all have somewhere where we came from. We have a story behind our life. And sometimes those stories aren't so pretty. Most of the time, they're very messy, and because they're human stories, and I love that about family history as well. Um, I I could look at that tree, and just with those few generations that are stitched on that tree, I could tell stories, all kinds of stories. There's two of those ancestors, one on my side and one on my husband's side, where the women were widowed at a very young age. Their husband passed away in a work accident. They were different times and different places, but that is something that we both share there. And I can't imagine losing a husband at a young age like that. And so it just helps me think about their life and what that must have been like. Another really challenging thing, there's people on that tree who were abusive. And, I say that um, openly because it's something I feel like it's important to talk about. It was sexual abuse, and it could have happened for generations. I know it did. It was passed down. So there are several people on that tree who were abused and who were abusers. Um, but yet they're still stitched into my tree because that part of that story is still part of me. It's something that created, helped create who I am and the things that I deal with. Now, on as a side note, as you get to know me, you'll realize that I talk a lot about personal growth and becoming just the best person that I can be. That's been a passion of mine lifelong. Well, maybe not lifelong. I think cross stitch has been my passion longer, but not by much. I'm really into personal growth and just looking at how can this experience help me be a better person, and also just healing. I am just getting ready to finish my master's in social work. So that's been something that I've been working at, just slowly plodding along and working on that little at a time because obviously I'm raising kids. It's very crazy busy in my life. But I am nearing the end of that. I graduate in December and I'm really excited. I'll be able to do direct practice as a therapist. And I look forward to being able to help other people in their journeys as well. Anyway, so back to the family tree, and I'm looking at that beautiful family tree right now. But I love to just look at it. Do you ever just finish a piece and just you can't stop staring at it? This is definitely that way for me. I love to just look at it. Sometimes I'll just walk in my living room where it hangs on the wall and I'll just sit there and stare at it. It's beautiful, and what it represents to me is beautiful. I find that this is a great way to just pass on so much to my children and to create this. Family history is something that I'm very passionate about. Learning about those stories and telling them and sharing them with my kids, because that's what makes us who we are. So I'll just share this as a quick aside here. One resource that I use a lot for family tree, or for discovering more about my family history and connecting with other people with my ancestors, our ancestors, is Family Search. And so if family history is something that you're interested in or maybe want to learn more about, I would highly recommend checking out familysearch.org and start filling in your tree. When you do that, you want to, Family Search keeps all the records of people who are living private. And so you're not going to be able to search for somebody that you know if they're still alive. So when you're creating your tree, you have to know the name of your closest relative who has passed away. And once you can put in their name and birth date, sometimes there's other users of Family Search that have already put in ancestral information about that family member. And so when you type in their name, that existing account will pop up and say, hey, is this the person that you're talking about? And you say yes. And then you select that person, and it populates your family tree, and you get to discover so many cool things. When that does happen, that's exciting because there's this feature in family search that is memories. And these are things that can be shared, like pictures and audio, stories that anybody can upload and connect to that person. So family search is like, it's like social media for our ancestors, and we get to share all these stories and things and connect with other people who are also connected to these same ancestors. So I love it because I'm able to learn stories about my ancestors that I had never heard about, that somebody else is sharing on there about them. I'm able to see pictures of my ancestors that I've never seen before, and that's always exciting. And it's exciting to share what I have also. So anyway, that is totally unrelated to cross stitch, but it is something that is related to this particular piece that I'm sharing. And so if that sparks an interest for you, check it out. If it's something that you haven't heard of before family search, then check it out and let me know how you like it. If you have heard of it and you use it, let me know what you like it. Or if you like family history, but you do it in a different way, you use a different site like MyHeritage or Ancestry.com, let me know too. Just share something in the comments of how you have connected with your ancestors.
Hello. I'm grumpy. Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. I made this whole video and realized that not only are my nails like all chippy, but I have a face on my thumb. I made this the other day when my daughter was feeling a little down and grumpy, and so in my efforts to cheer her up, I drew this face on my thumb, and I just haven't had the chance to fix my nails, to clean them up. So you get to enjoy Mr. Grumpy.